Is thank you, Matt. Um, and we are going to be discussing three different majors tonight. The sports studies major, which is in a bit of a transition, which we're going to explain, recreation and park management, and the recreational therapy degree. So we are going to have a quick presentation about each of these majors, what they require, a little bit about the major, and then we will open it up to questions. We have some faculty here that I'm going to introduce in just a minute, along with our student ambassador. So I'll go ahead and introduce Miss Matt Keenan and Jordan Cianci. Jordan is a recreational therapy student at ECU. So if you want to know even anything outside of academics, if you want to know about ECU specifically, she would be a great person to ask. We also, and Miss Keenan is our director of outreach. We also have on the call Miss Vanessa Bright. She currently she's the academic advisor for sports study students, along with physical education students as well. Hi. And she actually is a graduate of our MS in sports psychology program. We also have Dr. Ed Gomez. He is our director of the Recreation and Park Management degree, along with Ms. Burnworth, who is the internship coordinator for our recreational therapy degree. So I am going to go ahead and feel free. This is informal. We're going to have question time afterwards, but if you want to drop a question in the chat, we'll have somebody monitoring that as well. So if you will just give me a minute to pull up the PowerPoint, and we can go from there. Do you want to share on your end, Ed, or do you want me to just drive it the whole way? Here it goes. Okay, I have option.
So I just realized that I was muted.
Okay, there you go.
All right, great. So my name is Ed Gomez, and I am in my seventh year here at East Carolina University. Um, I'm going to be talking about the recreation and park management, but as you can see, we have really three. Well, it's going to be 2 degrees and 2 concentration areas that we're going to be talking about, but we'll get into that here in a minute. Go ahead, go to the next one, Kelly. Um, so the the recreation and park management degree is really set up to teach you how to manage employees, plan and promote activities, create budgets, do the legal aspects of it to make sure you protect everyone who are your participants, and conduct recreation programs and special events. So you can think of this as if you've ever been to a camp, a public park, a festival, an event, a tour. We're the people that basically put those things on so that everyone can have an awesome time. And I'll talk about the courses that prep you for that as we get to it. So you can see here from aquatics to zoo, we had to have the A to Z kind of situation, but we have actually placed students in aquatics and in zoos because the degree is really set up to um, you basically have knowledge where you can apply it to any of these areas. So we teach you programming, for example, and programming can be done across a variety of different areas and across a variety of different ages. So um, and as we sort of get closer, if you have any questions as I'm presenting, feel free to sort of raise your hand virtually and ask questions. I do see that there's something in the chat, so I don't know if that's for me or someone else. But go ahead and go to the next question. Next slide. I have here that recreation management is one of the 10 unusual majors that you can get. Uh, uh, and the reason we wrote this here is because we're kind of a discovery major, and it's unusual in that it really brings in a whole bunch of other different types of degrees. So it's a little bit of geography, it's a little bit of business, sometimes it's a little bit of art. So there's a lot of it's a multidisciplinary approach to really working with a different, you know, or a variety of different people. Next slide, please. And then the types of careers that you can get is in commercial recreation and tourism. So that's things like event management. You can work in resort areas, recreational sport leadership. As for things for like campus recreation, as well as running all the different types of municipal or city um, sport leagues, community and nonprofits are, working with things like the YMCA, as well as uh, Senior Olympics or Olympics. And you're going to see that there is some overlap between recreation and sport management in certain instances, and that's the reason why we're bringing sport management into uh, our department. And then the last one is outdoor recreation. And that you can see the canoeing there, but if you like water rafting, if you are into outdoor adventure and leading activities, going uh, backpacking or mountain biking and leading tours and events, this is the degree for you. A lot of what's good about this degree is that if there's specifically as you were growing up, a certain love that you have of something related to, in your leisure time, this degree allows you to take that love of something in your leisure time and actually make it a career. Next slide, please.
And I was going to add like some of the specific job titles that we see, like with careers in rec and park management. We have students who go on and are doing part or a park ranger at the state or even national level, working in national parks. We have students who are directors of sports or youth sports in recreation and parks departments for their local government or for the county. So, and then we also have like the director of sports or, you mentioned commercial tourism as well and event management. So again, there'll be a lot of overlap, but yeah, this is a really cool degree.
This is an example of 2023 salaries. It does have here your entry salary is 32,000. So that's like if you have absolutely no degree and no experience and you're starting off, you'll be starting off at the low 30s. And but with a baccalaureate degrees, you'll probably be starting off in the low to mid 40s, and or into the 50s, depending on the state. Some states have a higher cost of living, and so they'll make that adjustment. Um, but you'll see that actually as you go up in every consequent degree will usually give you about a $10,000 to $15,000 bump in salary. And if you don't get it, it does like maybe in your first year because you don't have the experience. After 2 years experience, you'll probably move fairly quickly into some type of a leadership or supervisory role, which will then bring you that salary. And usually you get that advancement because you had the baccalaureate degree. Supervisors obviously making in the 50s to 60s, and as you can see here, you can make six figures in this degree. Um, uh, so if you can think of like, wow, who can be a director and like how many directors are there? Um, if you can think of a city in the United States, that's probably how many directors you have in the United States, because just about every city has a park district, and every park district has a director that runs that park district. They might have different titles. Some of them are called commissioners, some are called superintendents. But you can see the interesting thing on the last column is that generally there are yearly raises in this in this field, and so even if you start off fairly low, getting 4 to 5% raises on an annual basis is usually pretty good, and the benefits are awesome. some examples of some of the classes that you'll be taking. You'll take Leisure and Society, which just basically says, how to educate yourself about not only the leisure field, but actually leisure for yourself, and making sure that you have a good work-life balance. Community development. A lot of what we do is we work with communities and how to augment. So it's not just about working with the people themselves, but sometimes it's also about making sure that tourism, for example, or parks is especially festivals, could be an active component of the economy for that particular area. And then we teach you how to do events, how to administer them, how to plan them. We have a really cool class called the Great Smoky Mountains Outdoor Field Experience, and you're actually going to be meeting with students from NC State, from Texas A&M, from Penn State, from other universities. There's 5 universities. I don't know all of them, or I can't remember all of them because I don't have it written down. But it's cool because about 15 or so students from all of these different universities all meet for basically 2 weeks in the Great Smoky Mountains with park rangers, with professionals, with conservationists, and learn about sustainability, and as well as from each other and do a whole bunch of team building kinds of exercise. It's a really cool class. Um, and then there are 3 professional seminar courses, and these it's actually going to be knocked down to 2 in the future because we're combining 2 of them. And that's really to prepare you for 2 things. One, to be a professional and how to put together a resume and go through the interview process, but then also all the things you need to make sure you graduate and dot all the I's and cross all the T's as we leave you. And then also to help you begin to establish your network so that you can start transitioning from the university into the field. One more thing, I think this is my last slide which I had forgotten to mention in my last talk with the folks on Friday. We also have a certification within our field called a Certified Park and Recreation Professional. And because we are an accredited program, all these courses that are listed here are actually designed for you to actually sit for that certification once you've completed your internship. Okay. I think oh, there it is. So our interns, as you can see here, run from the outdoors. This is a park ranger. This is actually a former that one, the top one, anyways, is a former student of ours. Uh, we actually have had people work in the cruise industry. We've had people also. You don't have to work uh, in North Carolina. We have students from all, working in every single state. Um, Last year, we had some folks in Alaska. This year, I actually have a student in Colorado, but they're in California and Florida, in Maine. Actually, during COVID, we had a guy working in camps up in Maine because it was in the outdoors, so they weren't affected by COVID. So just a whole bunch of different types of things, but you're going to be expected to do 480 total hours, and you're paired up with a professional in the industry who also basically, shows you the ropes and helps you to extend um, into the profession. And I guess the last thing I want to say about the internship, it's really set up so that you can either be hired right out of the internship or get leads for hiring right out of the internship. We have a pretty solid hiring rate right out of the degree, upwards of 90%. Other opportunities that you might want to explore, we have faculty, and this is also with some of the other programs, rec therapy as well as sport management, that are leading programs abroad, either to Australia, New Zealand, Costa Rica, recently in Korea, as well as Peru. Um, and then you have some domestic opportunities to study. I guess I put abroad in questions, but study within, as well as a lot of service learning opportunities, which is something that maybe Kelly Dill will talk about in a minute. But we do a lot in every single one of our majors, whether you're rec therapy, sport management, or rec and park management. We do a lot with making sure that we either bring people from who are professionals into the classroom, or we bring the classroom out into the professionals and out into the community where they actually work alongside and generally do projects that help to basically build up those communities. We also do trips like bring people to the Super Bowl. We just had 15 students at the Super Bowl who were basically helping to they were volunteers helping to basically run some of the events that were on site. So this goes along with, professional student conferences, and of course, everyone will be mentored by the faculty that are here, within the department, and you'll be assigned both a faculty mentor as well as a professional advisor, who actually will be Kelly Dill. I'll pass it on to Kelly, I guess.
Sorry, it was a slip. Were you done?
No, I was done. That was
Okay.
perfect.
Oh, all right. Well, I'm going to be talking about our BS in recreational therapy program first, and then I'll go into our sport management. I'm probably going to be throwing a lot of questions to our experts here, and to our student, Jordan, as well, since this is her major. So recreational therapy, I like to call it, when I tell people it is a licensure degree. It is a clinical degree. So this prepares you to be a licensed recreational therapist once you graduate. You can go into grad school if you want. It is a holistic view of what I call healthcare. And so, and a lot of students do use this as a prerequisite major to go into occupational therapy later on, which is good. It's just a few different classes, but no extra classes if that's something you're interested in. So recreational therapy really brings the not just the physical together, but the mental, the social, the spiritual well-being of a person. So it is a holistic view of healthcare. And so we do a lot with adaptive sports. We do a lot with biofeedback and sensory and working with people who have disabilities, whether it's physical disabilities or cognitive disabilities. Um, Ms. Burnworth, Jordan, did I kind of catch all of that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So they work as members of a treatment team, so you can work in healthcare. They work with physicians, nurses, and occupational therapists, physical therapists to provide a treatment plan. So within the program, you're learning about different interventions that you can give to patients, and working with them in an individual, in a group setting. And we really do a lot of, Dr. Gomez talked about it, experiential learning. You'll see that picture right there is actually from one of our classes. Is that one of your classes, Ms. Burnworth? No.
No, my guess is it's one of Dr. Loy's.
Yeah. Where you're actually given, a description and you're that person, and it's kind of learning how to be that person, and kind of feeling like what they have to go through every day. So careers in rec therapy, like I said, it does prepare you to be specifically a licensed recreational therapist, but you can work in a lot of different areas of the healthcare sector. So you can work in behavioral health, you can work in physical rehabilitation, adult programs, adaptive sports programs, in hospitals and schools. We do a lot with the Wounded Warriors as well. So there is just a variety of places that you can work in. And we have different certifications as well. I know Dr. Gomez mentioned the certification with RPM. We do have classes that you could take to become, have a biofeedback certificate. We also have a class that allows you to get an adaptive sports certificate as well, or certification as well. That's in the summer. And this is just kind of a look at where our students end up, or where recreational therapies work. You can see the majority of them work in hospitals, in nursing facilities, and then by population, they work with, across the board behavioral health, geriatrics, physical rehabilitation, and developmental disabilities as well.
And then, Kelly, I would also add that our degree allows for a certification from the NCTRC, the National Council of
Yes.
Therapeutic Recreation certification, as well as in the state of North Carolina, and a few other states provide the option to apply for licensure.
Okay, thank you. I think I have that accreditation somewhere. But yes, thank you. Um, the median annual wage for recreational therapists is around 48,000, but again, that depends on where you live and cost of living. But this job is actually expected to grow 10% between now and 2030. It's one of the fastest growing on average for all occupations. This is according to the US Bureau of Labor Statistics. So this degree is a little bit different than the rec and park management and the sport management in that it's a clinical degree. So you do have to apply to the major to be accepted. So it is competitive to be, but it's not super competitive like I would say like a nursing where you know over half the people don't get in. Most of our students are accepted into the major that apply. We just want to make sure that you have a good understanding of what recreational therapy is, and a working knowledge of what you want to do with that career wise, and those types of things. And so I tell students, as long as you have that and you don't do your interview in like a pajama top or something like that when you record your interview, you will be great. So you do have to have a minimum of a 2.5 GPA to be eligible to apply and have completed English 1, English 2, math, anatomy and physiology, and then your your RT Foundations course, which you will take your freshman year along with Leisure and Society. We also would like for you to have 25 documented hours of direct experience working with vulnerable populations, and or with in a recreation type setting. And we provide a lot of opportunities for that during the school year. You do not have to have those completed by the time you apply, but it does help with your application. But again, we send out a lot of different emails because our community needs a lot of volunteers. We do Special Olympics. I just sent one out about the special needs prom. We also have Rocking Horse Ranch here in town, which does equine therapy. What else do we have, Miss Burnworth and Jordan? Um,
There is
yeah,
adaptive swim lessons at
yes.
Aquaventure, and there's multiple different camps throughout the semesters that get sent out. I've participated in a Wounded Warrior camp where they bring their families, and we did, horseback riding and archery and kayaking, and it was a really nice weekend to kind of step foot into like the daily lives of individuals who can benefit from RT.
Oh, and that picture is we have a sensory room during the basketball games during the month of February, which is our team month. So that's somewhere you can volunteer as well. And to apply, you do submit an application, and you have to answer a 10-question interview through interview stream. So you record yourself and submit it, and then our faculty review it and then do admissions that way. But we do accept fall, spring, and summer. We accept 35 students in the fall and the spring, and then around 10 to 15 students over the summer. Ms. Bernworth, do you want to talk about the classes a little bit? Because
Sure.
I know Miss Burnworth is the internship coordinator, so obviously she teaches the internship class. But she also teaches recreation and event programming, which is required for all three of the majors within rec sciences.
Sure. Yes. So the first few classes you'll take are introduction level classes, including recreation and event programming and leisure and society. But once you're admitted into the major, you'll start off by taking courses such as disability survey for RT services, assessment and measurement, so where you learn to complete a assessment. You'll take a clinical application of RT skills, so we really work on practicing those clinical skills, a cognitive and psychosocial intervention course, and physical and movement interventions. Those are specifically directed to those two interventions, so they can be a lot of fun. And then you'll have your internship course, which is your last semester of your academic degree. That is a 560-hour internship, and it's a minimal of 14 weeks. And it can be anywhere basically in the United States that has a CTRS on staff that can supervise a recreational therapy student.
you. So some student experiences that we have, again, we are very hands-on with our experiential learning. So we have the Center for Applied Psychophysiology and the Biofeedback Lab. That picture on at the top is a picture of our sailboat simulation lab, where we actually work with people who have spinal cord injuries and show them how to adapt the sailboat to them. They can practice in a virtual sailboat that actually rocks with the waters. You can program the computer for different areas and oceans and waterways, and then we help them transition to actually being out on the water. We also have a sensory lab. We do study abroad, and I'll talk a little bit about study abroad for you guys. What we have, ECU does have your traditional semester-long study abroad, where you go off and you can go anywhere, go for a semester and come back. Within the departments, we have what we call faculty-led summer study abroads. So that means you go with a faculty member and a small group of students for usually about 2 to 3 weeks. You get credit for around 1 to 2 classes, depending on which study abroad you choose. And out-of-state students, you do pay in-state tuition on those 2 classes. So it's a way to save you a little bit of money. Last year, they went to Germany and to the Special World Olympics, and they actually worked all the different events there, and that's how they got credit for their class. This year, one of our RT instructors, Dr. Kim, and an adapted PE instructor or faculty member, Dr. An, are taking a group to South Korea to learn about recreational therapy and adaptive living over in South Korea as well. So a lot of different opportunities for that. Sport management, I can't remember where they're going this semester, but they've been to Australia and New Zealand in the past. Do you know?
Yeah, they're going to Spain this year.
Spain, that's right. Okay, perfect. So again, and we also have clubs. We have the Recreation and Park Management Majors Club, and we have the Recreational Therapy Student Society as well that you can join even as a freshman. And it's just a great way to get involved and to meet other people in your major. They do things for the community. So I highly recommend joining those as well. So I mentioned this is a licensure degree. So you have to have, once you graduate, you sit for your license, similar to how a nursing student would sit for their NCLEX upon graduation. A couple of years ago, we actually had a 100% pass rate on that national certification for all of our students who took it the first time. So you're certified therapeutic recreation specialist, CRT, licensed in the state of North Carolina, and we are also accredited program by the Commission of Accreditation of Allied Health Programs through the Committee of Accreditation for Recreational Therapy Education. We also have what we call accelerated graduate programs for both rec and park management and recreational therapy. So what this means is if you know you want to go on to grad school and further your education, you can apply during your junior year around your 75th credit hour, and I will help you monitor that. If you have a 3.3 GPA, you can apply. If you are admitted, that means during your senior year, you are taking graduate level courses, and then you do your internship over the summer so that once you graduate over the summer, you only have a year left to get your master's degree. It's a Master's of Science in Recreation Sciences, and you can do the concentration in Recreation and Park Administration or Recreational Therapy Administration. So now I'm going to talk about our sport management concentration, and then I'll turn it over to the students to introduce themselves as well. So traditionally, this has been a BS in Sports Studies degree at ECU. The way the current Sports Studies degree is set up is that it looks at sports from a lot of different angles. So the management and marketing angle, but also the sociology of sports and the science of sports, where you're having to take specific chemistries and physics, and so you can take the biomechanics and those types of classes. So we are transitioning away from that and moving it into a true sport management concentration. So the degree would be a BS in recreation part in sport management, and then we would have the concentration in rec and park management, which Dr. Gomez will go over, and then you're going to have the concentration in sport management, which we'll go over now. So with sport management, you will learn a broad range of topics. You're going to learn about the marketing of sports, the administration of sports, promotion, event management, fan engagement, representation. So you'll be learning about all of those different topics through a list of core courses. The core courses are classes that both rec and parks and sport management students will take. And then electives, or you can, oh, can you guys still hear me? Okay.
Yeah, faded out for a second, but you're good now.
Or it will, so you can do restricted electives or a minor. A minor is not required for the major, but it could sub out for your restricted electives, which is great. So if you wanted to do a minor, you could definitely build that in, and it would not cost any extra time to your degree or anything like that. If you choose a minor, we like to tell you, choose something that is going to round out your career. So like Darius, he wants to get into research. His minor is biology. We also have students who do psychology if they want to go into sports psychology. You can minor in business, you can minor in communication. So there are a lot of different things that you could do for a minor, or you could take additional sport management classes or rec and park management or rec therapy courses. So some different careers in sport management that we have. Our students go into athletic administration, sport marketing, ticket and sponsorship sales, athletic representation. They can also go into coaching and training, become sports media and communication specialists, or even work on the merchandising side of that and doing sports licensure and merchandising. So here are a list of sport management classes that you would be taking. So we still are going to require the sport analytics and the sport psychology, but we are also going to have, you're going to take marketing, you're going to learn about facilities management, you'll learn about organizational behavior, sales and sports enterprise, legal aspects. There's also going to be an internship component to this degree as well. And again, there's a lot of experiential learning. That picture right there is actually from one of our sport event management classes. So the classes will go out and meet with professionals, as well as professionals coming into the classroom and speaking with you about their different careers in the sport and athletic industry. So experiential learning that we have. So again, hands-on experience. You do take an internship in your final semester. So some of our site examples, we do have students who intern with ECU athletics or campus recreation and wellness. We've had students who have worked who have done internships in professional sports, like for the Carolina Panthers. You can see that picture at the top left. Charlotte Motor Speedway. We have quite a few students who do the Hurricane Junior Golf Tour. So you could, again, this internship is anywhere in the country. We talked about the faculty-led summer study abroad. We also have a really cool class called the Sport Event Management Super Bowl class. And I'm actually going to let Darius talk about that because he just recently got back from the Super Bowl for that class.
Sorry, Kelly.
And sorry, it's okay. And let me introduce Darius. Darius is a current sports studies student, and he's another one of our student ambassadors. So
He just got in from working event, so yeah.
oh.
But
Do you want to talk about the Super Bowl class and what you did during your week at the Super Bowl, Darius?
Oh, yeah, I got you. So for the Super Bowl class, we were there for 7 days. So we got there the Tuesday before the Super Bowl and left the following Tuesday after. And while we were there, we had like a research type of activity where we had to not an interview, but like network with over 100 students around the world, getting their emails to see like a post survey on Super Bowl to see how like their experience was, what they learned and all that. But working the Super Bowl, the Super Bowl experience where it's more of like fan interactive. I worked like the total access, so I worked around the point where fans could be coming like sports commentators for like 30 seconds, and they will record it and they can get the video sent to them. And then at the Super Bowl, we worked as a wayfinder. So we worked as people that direct the traffic, direct the people to their seats, concession stands, restrooms. And outside of Super Bowl, we had activities where we kind of like networked with alumni of the programs at ECU. So we met with a man named Kevin Jones who runs Blue Wire. He is like I think one of the biggest podcasting services in the world. So we got a chance to like meet Stephen A. Smith. Anybody that's like a fan of the sports world like knows who Stephen A. Smith is. We got to talk to a lady named Molly Edick.
Yes.
She's a sports agent for Clutch Sports, so she has a plethora of clients in the football world. And we also met a Parks and Rec manager named Ted. What's his last name?
Lockman.
Ted Lockman, and he like toured us around like the whole city of Henderson, Nevada, which is like I think one of the biggest Parks and Rec cities in the world. So it was like a experience that even if you don't want to work in sport, you got a chance to experience everything around sport. So I think it's a good opportunity for anybody that's like upperclassman, junior, senior. If you don't get it the first time, go for your second time, and it's a great experience for you.
You. Oh, hold on. Oh, that was actually my last slide. Stop sharing. Okay. So now we are going to open it up for questions. I'm also going to go ahead and let Jordan talk about I'm going to let Jordan and Darius both talk about their experience at ECU while we're waiting for questions. Because Jordan's involved in a lot of cool things as well. Why you chose ECU, and what your experience has been like. So I'll let you guys take it away.
Hi, Jordan.
Okay, so my name is Jordan. I'm an HHP ambassador and I'm a recreational therapy major with a minor in psychology. I chose ECU because obviously it's the greatest school in the world. I'm just kidding. But kind of, actually it is. I love it a lot. And the biggest thing that led me to be an RT major was when I found out of this quote unquote contraption that allows individuals in wheelchairs to be able to water ski. And personally, I love aquatics, and that was the pathway that I wanted to go into no matter really what I worked as. So hearing that and hearing that we can also heal and have a great time was kind of my reason for becoming an RT major. I talked a little bit about going to this camp Twin Lakes and how involved I got to be with post-combat injury populations, and I really loved that camp. I did adaptive swim lessons at Aquaventure, and that was a lot of fun. But right now I'm currently in the RTSS, Recreational Therapy Student Society club. I'm the president of Pirate Scuba Association. So I took the scuba diving program through kinesiology at ECU, and that was honestly one of the best classes I've ever taken. So that kind of inspired me to use recreational therapy and scuba as a form of healing. So yeah, my goal is to do adaptive scuba with recreational therapy. I am in Team Awareness Combating Overdose. Let's talk about it. And that's really fun. It provides, safe opportunities for students on campus. We actually had an event today, Safe Spring Break. So yeah, and then I'm in dance extensions. I do ballet, jazz, lyrical, modern, and contemporary there. Those are all styles of dance. Basically, all of my interests all of my interests kind of are supported by being an RT major, because you can always incorporate the things you love to bring healing to other people. So yeah, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I've missed, but I genuinely love ECU because there's so many different opportunities and you can really get involved. Go ahead, Darius.
I'm Darius. I'm a senior in the sports studies, sports management program, however you want to name it. I do a lot of things. So along with me being an ambassador, I'm also in my internship to graduate, which I interned at the Fit Building, which is the fitness, instruction, testing, training and training facility, which is like a research type of training facility, but it also has community members. So I research with active moms, which they bring in like pregnant women and they work them out and see how it like helps the baby, I guess, after the birth is given. And then I also work with like Motor Pack, where I take like they take inactive people and make them very active for like 3 months, and then compare like muscle mass, I guess, throughout the course of it. Along with that, I work in operations, so I work every sporting event. I intern in compliance for athletics.
You're applying to grad school.
I'm applying to grad school. I'm going to grad school here in the sport and exercise psychology program. I'm also in a research lab right now with Dr. B. I have my own research project with Dr. Das.
Why'd you choose ECU?
I chose ECU because I didn't want to go far from home. I'm from Virginia, so I didn't want to go too far from home, but I didn't want to stay in state. And my cousin was an alumni here. I was originally a biology major, but I found out that I hated chemistry and I couldn't do it no more. So I put that in my minor, and I found out about the sports studies program, and that's probably like the best decision I made in college so far. Because without this, I don't know if I could get through biology, if I'm being honest. But
That's also the great part about ECU too. I feel like a lot of times coming in as a freshman, not many people stick with the major that they first chose, only because how can you choose the rest of your life in one click of a button before you've even started school? But you have great resources to help you figure out which major is really meant for you, and if you're really good at some certain aspects in your education, how can we apply those and find similar classes like that for you? So you have a bunch of different people that really want you to succeed and allow you to find your spot. Because I was exercise physiology when I first came into college, and I thought that I wanted to be a physical therapist. And I'm really glad that there were other options presented to me, because I would have been a physical therapist and I would have gone back to school. So
yeah, connect with the professors. The professors, you might not want to talk to them at first, but they got a lot. They're very knowledgeable. So you talk to them and they'll lead you in the right direction, whatever you want to do. And they're very helpful. You might get afraid to talk like the first few weeks, but once you get comfortable, introduce yourself, tell them about your dreams, aspirations, and they'll most likely guide you in the right direction.
also, making yourself known to different professors is a leg up already, because typically when you first come into school, you may have larger classes, just to get those prerequisites out of the way, and to make that connection and show that initiative at first kind of proves to your teachers or professors that this is something that you're interested in, and they will go, the extra mile if you do to help you, succeed.
They want to see you succeed. So we are very supportive here. So yeah, it can be intimidating speaking to your instructors. I get that. But know that they want the best for you.
The only other thing that I'll add is that a lot of us here at ECU were first generation college students ourselves. I'm a first gen. Are either of you first gen? No, okay. I know Ms. Dill is first gen. We have other professors who are first generation. Yeah, Dr. Gomez, first generation. So like, if you are new to the college landscape, maybe the first person in your family to pursue the college route, like we are all here to help and support you in that endeavor.
And Miss Kelly Dill has all of the answers, like every single one of them. So,
and if she doesn't know, she's gonna find somebody that does.
I know who to ask. Yeah.
Yes. Ms. Dill, sorry.
Oh no, I was just going to open it up to questions to you guys. Feel free to unmute yourselves. We want to meet you. We want to see you. But you could also drop questions in the chat as well.
While you guys are sending questions, I'm gonna put 3 Instagram accounts in the chat that you should be following, because we have some really cool things going on and you get to see all of everything that's going on. So the first one is the college Instagram account. So you get to see things that are going on across the college. The second one is the recreation science one specific, so encompassing all of the different areas of recreation science. And then the third one is the ambassadors page. So these are 2 of our 10 ambassadors. And so if you have questions about like student life, student experiences, where to live on campus, where to eat on campus, whatever it may be. That's an account that you guys can follow and send questions as you see them, have them, whatever it may be, and get an answer from a student perspective as well.
There's also Instagram accounts. If you look up ECU class of and then type in your graduating year, a lot of times they have like introduction pages where you're like, hey, you know, I'm so and so, I'm looking to major in this. I'm from, you know, here, my dorm room is on this part of campus. Like, anybody want to be friends? And that's how I made a lot of friends freshman year. And honestly, like the first day of college, having known those Instagram accounts and like seen a few people, you kind of already feel a part. And so that's another really helpful thing that I'll say. I'm still friends with a lot of people that I met literally in Delaware on Instagram. So
Nice.
If they're starting to do their housing contracts, where should they live?
it's super difficult to say because there's no bad spot to live, but
Don't get legacy. I'm telling you right now, you go, that's gonna be the worst dorm of your life. Don't get it.
I lived in Garrett though, so there's pretty good competition for that one. But West End is really close to a lot of like main campus buildings. And then College Hill is really close to the stadium and stuff. So either way, you have a really good advantage of being in either spot. I lived in West End in Garrett, and I was so close to the dining hall, and I was so close to downtown and restaurants and all of my classes that I loved it. But I know my friends that lived on the hill loved that coffee shop, and we're super close to the stadium. So I don't really think there's a right or wrong spot.
Yeah, if you live on a hill, your best bet is like College Suites or like Scott Hall.
Yeah,
That
I
was
was
like
a
the-
Scott.
They're like the best too. You got the Clyde right downstairs.
Mhm.
You got the dining hall across the street. There's a lot of places. You don't gotta keep going to main campus for this food like right there. You can like Subway and if you like the like I call it the gas station, but it's called something. It's called
It's
something
like a
else.
convenience store
Yeah,
on campus.
If you like those,
They have sushi there.
They do
It's
have
good. It's really good.
They do. They got little subs too on if you like them.
Very funny. Any questions?
Dining hall food is really good. Game days are really fun. The campus is really big and there's a lot of students, but it feels like a small community and everybody really knows each other. And you see a lot of like friendly faces, so that's really good. It's not too close either. Like if you don't want to see somebody, you don't have to.
Have a great
I
atmosphere
came
for
to
football
school not knowing
games,
nobody.
and
Yeah. Sorry, what'd you say?
I was saying we have a great atmosphere for football games, baseball games, even basketball. So a lot of different. There's always something going on in Greenville too. All right.
It's
Well,
great. I've
we
seen
are
you twice.
gonna hang out for a little bit, just in case you guys do have any questions. But thank you so much for coming, and we really appreciate it. And we hope to see you here in the fall. So, like I said, we will be here for a few more minutes if anyone does have any questions that you want to ask. So,
Go Pirates.